The bolt-action sniper rifle. When a shot has to count once and only once, nearly every military and police force on Earth still reaches for a bolt-action rifle. The reasoning comes down to pure applied mechanics. During the split second a bullet travels down the barrel, a bolt-action rifle sits almost perfectly static, with no moving operating rod or gas system shifting the point of impact between shots. The U.S. Army's M24 sniper weapon system, built on a Remington 700 receiver, served from 1988 until it was finally replaced by the chassis-enhanced M2010 and .300 Winchester Magnum, a run of well over 2 decades in frontline service. Britain took the same path with the Accuracy International L96A1, chambered in 7.62 NATO, before upgrading to the larger, longer-reaching L115A3 chambered in .338 Lapua Magnum. Bolt-action rifles also tend to be simpler to maintain in the field, with fewer parts that can jam, foul, or wear out compared to any self-loading design, which is exactly why this category remains the default choice whenever maximum first-shot precision matters more than rate of fire. The same Remington 700 action underpinning the M24 has also become the single most popular bolt-action rifle among civilian hunters and competitive shooters in America, a level of aftermarket support and parts availability that keeps the platform relevant across military, police, and civilian markets all at once. The semi-automatic sniper rifle. Special operations units frequently trade a small amount of pure accuracy for the ability to fire a fast follow-up shot, particularly in scenarios like detonating unexploded ordnance from a distance or engaging a target-rich environment where a bolt gun's cycle time becomes a real handicap. Eugene Stoner's SR-25, adopted by the U.S. Navy as the Mark 11 Mod 0, proved a semi-automatic 7.62 NATO rifle could hold its own against bolt guns of the era, paving the way for the Knights Armament M110 semi-automatic sniper system, fielded by the Army in 2007 specifically to replace the aging M24. The original M110 weighed a hefty 13.8 pounds unloaded, and later revisions like the M110A2 cut that weight down to just 10.5 pounds while keeping the same semi-automatic recoil-operated action. These rifles let a shooter stay on target and fire again in a fraction of the time a bolt gun requires, a real tactical advantage anywhere multiple threats might appear in quick succession. The M110 family has kept expanding since its introduction, with a dedicated M110A3 conversion kit built specifically to let special operations units switch the same rifle over to 6.5 Creedmoor, extending its effective range even further without adopting an entirely new weapon system. The designated Marksman rifle. Not quite a true sniper rifle and not quite a standard infantry weapon, the designated Marksman rifle exists specifically to fill the gap between a rifleman's 300-meter effective range and a dedicated sniper's 600-meter and beyond capability. The Soviet Dragunov SVD, chambered in 7.62 by 54R, essentially invented this category, issued to one specially trained marksman per squad to extend the unit's reach without pulling a rifleman away from his fire team entirely. Interestingly, Soviet doctrine actually used the word sniper for these squad-level marksmen, even though a Dragunov-equipped soldier operates far closer to conventional infantry than the independent, long-range specialists that NATO forces would classify under that same term. Unlike a true sniper who often operates independently or in a two-man team well outside normal unit formations, a designated marksman remains embedded directly inside his squad, engaging targets as tactical necessity demands rather than through a separate command structure. Modern examples like the British L129A1 sharpshooter and the German HK417 continue that same tradition, typically holding 10 to 30 rounds and firing common infantry calibers like 7.62 by 51 mm so that ammunition logistics stay simple across the whole unit. Some designated marksman rifles skip a new design entirely and simply accurize the existing service rifle instead, exactly like the American Mark 12 Special Purpose Rifle, which takes the standard M16 platform and adds a heavier, more precise barrel along with a magnified optic rather than building a completely separate weapon from scratch. The Anti-Materiel Rifle. built to punch through engine blocks, concrete, and light armor rather than simply engage personnel. The anti-materiel rifle category is defined almost entirely by raw cartridge size. Ronnie Barrett's M82, chambered in the massive .50 BMG round, also known as 12.7 by 99 mm, has served since the late 1980s and remains the most recognizable rifle in this class. Its semi-automatic recoil-operated action, letting the barrel itself slide backward roughly an inch to help soak up genuinely brutal recoil. Similar rifles overseas run even larger cartridges, including the 12.7 by 108 mm and 14.5 by 114 mm rounds, occasionally paired with armor-piercing or incendiary projectiles designed to defeat vehicles in fortified positions rather than soft targets. Some of the largest anti-materiel systems in service today push all the way up to specialized 20mm cartridges, essentially blurring the line between a shoulder-fired rifle and a light autocannon, though weapons at that extreme end of the scale are almost always fired from a mounted tripod rather than truly shoulder-fired in the field. Because these rifles and their ammunition are so heavy, anti-materiel rifle teams typically require 2 or 3 operators just to transport and employ the weapon effectively in the field. Anti-materiel rifle barrels are also built noticeably heavier than a standard sniper rifle barrel and deliberately left unchromed, both choices made specifically to keep the barrel's point of impact consistent between a cold first shot and a warmed-up follow-up shot. A level of manufacturing precision that raw stopping power alone would never require. The suppressed Covert sniper rifle, developed by Soviet engineers Pyotr Serdyukov and Vladimir Krasnikov and adopted by the Soviet military in 1987, the VSS Vintorez was built for a very specific mission, letting Spetsnaz operators take an accurate shot without giving away their position at all. Chambered in a purpose-built 9 by 39 mm subsonic cartridge and fitted with a permanent integral suppressor, the Vintorez trades outright range for near-total silence. Its effective range limited to roughly 300 to 400 meters, since its heavy subsonic bullet simply cannot fly as flat or as far as a supersonic sniper cartridge. That trade-off was entirely intentional, since the whole point of a suppressed covert sniper rifle is defeating body armor at moderate range while making it nearly impossible for anyone downrange to determine where the shot came from. A capability regular Spetsnaz, KGB, and FSB units have relied on since the late 1980s. The Vintorez achieves that quiet performance through a dual-chamber suppressor design built directly into the barrel itself, venting propellant gas through a series of small ports before it ever reaches the muzzle, and the entire rifle weighs barely over 2.5 kilograms unloaded, light enough to be broken down and carried inside a specialized aluminum briefcase along with its scope and spare magazines. The multi-caliber modular sniper rifle. Rather than issuing a separate dedicated rifle for every cartridge a sniper team might need, Accuracy International's AXMC, introduced in 2014 as the successor to the AX338, lets a single rifle switch between .338 Lapua Magnum, .300 Winchester Magnum, and .308 Winchester in a matter of minutes. The system, built around AI's patented quick-lock barrel release, only requires swapping the barrel, the bolt, and a magazine insert, all accomplished in the field with nothing more than a small hex key stored under the rifle's own cheekpiece. That modularity gives commanders enormous flexibility, since the same rifle chassis can be configured for a shorter range. Harder-hitting cartridge one day and reconfigured for extended range precision the next, all while maintaining sub-half minute of angle accuracy and without forcing snipers to train on an entirely different weapon system for each mission profile. A complete AXMC weighs approximately 15 pounds with its standard 27-inch barrel installed, putting it right in line with dedicated single-caliber rifles despite carrying all the extra hardware needed to support 3 completely different cartridges. The Bullpup Sniper Rifle. Unveiled at the 2008 SHOT Show, the Desert Tech Stealth Recon Scout solved a problem every conventional sniper rifle shared. A full-length barrel forces a full-length rifle. By moving the bolt and magazine behind the pistol grip, configuration known as a Bullpup layout, the SRS packs the same 22 to 26-inch barrel found on full-size sniper rifles into a package nearly a foot shorter overall, while weighing barely 10 pounds compared to 15 or more on many traditional platforms. The concept itself was not entirely new, since the German DSR-1 had already proven a Bullpup sniper rifle could work 8 years earlier. But Desert Tech's version pushed the idea further with true quick-change, multi-caliber capability built into a rifle designed from the ground up for the layout rather than adapted from an existing conventional design. That compact size proved so effective that after its debut, U.S. Special Operations Command actually rewrote its precision rifle requirements around lighter, shorter, multi-caliber systems, essentially validating the entire Bullpup sniper rifle concept industry-wide. Just like the Modular AXMC, the SRS can swap between calibers ranging from .308 Winchester up through .338 Lapua Magnum using a quick conversion kit, making it equally useful for a police sniper working inside a cramped stairwell and a military sniper covering open desert terrain. Effective range naturally scales with the caliber installed, from around 900 meters in .308 Winchester up to roughly 1,650 meters once a shooter switches over to the full-power .338 Lapua Magnum barrel, all inside the exact same compact Bullpup chassis. The Police Counter Sniper Rifle. Military snipers train to engage targets past 600 meters. But a police counter sniper's job looks almost nothing alike, since the overwhelming majority of law enforcement precision shots happen at under 100 yards during hostage rescues or barricaded suspect situations. Departments like the LAPD and NYPD SWAT teams have relied for decades on Remington 700-based rifles, the exact same action found inside the military's own M24, but configured and trained around a completely different mission. A single, absolutely certain shot with essentially zero margin for error, rather than sustained engagement at extended range. Because a police sniper very rarely gets, or needs, a fast follow-up shot the way a soldier in open combat might. The reliability and mechanical simplicity of a bolt-action rifle remains the standard choice for this role even decades after semi-automatic sniper systems became common on the modern battlefield. A police counter sniper's equipment also tends to prioritize a stable, quiet, supported firing position over extreme magnification, since a well-braced shot from a rooftop or a parked vehicle at 75 yards demands a completely different set of skills and gear than a soldier engaging a target across an open valley half a mile away.